The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. After last week's race, 4 drivers have been eliminated from playoff contention. The Elite 8 is what is left, with 3 races left in the Area Truck Series campaign. Where better else to conclude a playoff round and start anew here than Las Vegas, Sin City. The 1.5 miles and the Truck Series should put on a phenomenal race, and let's further conclude who will be the championship favorites here at Vegas. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's coverage of the area playoffs, the round of 8 beginning here at Las Vegas, and it'll be a night full of fun. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the production truck and doing the commentary along with Brad Dalton here. So Brad, this place in a truck, from what I'm seeing in practice, gonna be a lot of a pseudo super speedway, a lot of drafting, a lot of pack racing, which for those playoff drivers is gonna be very, very stressful.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's Viva Las Vegas. I was excited when I saw this on the calendar because I like Las Vegas. And Las Vegas, as you said, Corey, it's basically a speedway for these trucks. It's going to be a fun time to watch through. The round of 8 is set in. Beckner, Kane, Conrath, Kuntz, Mercurio, Nichols, Noel, and Pacioli are our 8 trucks fighting it out for a championship at this point. They have this track. They have not next week because we're going to be off next week, but then they go from here to Auto Club and then Charlotte to finish things out. We can only crown one champion, but I tell you what, this is going to be a good track to set the stage.
Yeah, exactly that. With the variable banking, the high speeds, the high grip, that will certainly lead to some interesting racing and maybe a little bit of shake up there on the top of the pylon. We'll all find out in due course here, but with about a minute left, it looks like we have about 35 trucks here. And as you dictated, Brad, we got 8 on the championship list, and those are all denoted in yellow there. So I do actually have an updated point standings graphic, and even with the reset, Mercurio there, he has a pretty good headway there, Brad. 24 points, and even if you look back to the cut line, he almost has a race buffer, but you don't want to take advantage of that.
And not at all. Here's the thing for Brian is if he has a bad day here at Vegas or a bad day at Auto Club, could completely ruin things for him. He's got to keep himself together and keep things moving through. Now, here's the thing. If you've watched this entire season run through, you already know Brian Mercurio is a driver that will have it together. There is nothing really that I can say that won't settle that in. I mean, 4 wins out of 14 races this season. I'm just saying that's kind of hard to beat. 11 top 10s, 9 top 5s. He is the one to beat, I would argue. But the fun of playoffs, anything can happen, Corey.
Exactly that. And you saw those people on the bottom of the playoffs, Peyton Howell, namely in the 9th spot. Remember, he was 4th actually going into last week's race at Nashville Super Speedway, I believe it was, and heartbreak took him out of it. So, but you could still race for 9th. That is still something that some of those drivers will enjoy. They can see Travis Beckner here exiting the pits. He locked himself in at Bristol, and he had a free pass to not have to worry about last week. Somebody, well, potentially could lock themselves into a free pass, but we'll find that out here over the course of our session. But qualifying is currently on the table, and very important, Brad. You see they're going to rim ride right up against the fence, because that rim riding against the fence, you have 1 lap and it's hard to get up to speed here.
Yeah, that outlap is so important here around Vegas. You need to send it through. You need to do a great job getting things going very quickly here. And as we can see, drivers are doing just that as the PVTR truck of Josh Parrish is getting his way around. And yeah,
that's a dyslexic PTR TV nightmare. PVTR. I've evaded that all season.
Yeah, that is exactly why I said it now, because I don't think we've really said it all season, so I had to get that in at least once before season's end. But Josh Parrish comes through 30.600, sets the tone, but 30.577 from Travis Beckner, and then everyone else comes through and will continue to put in times. Let's see what happens here is Caden Diedrich, 30.594, and then gets wiggly.
Sebastian Marin. He's going to be in the pole spot for the time being. Of course, he is predominantly in the truck series, but today, taking a stab here, Timmy Pacioli, he's going to go P3. You can see the red denotion on his truck there, which I may have to update things on the back because I saw one truck didn't have it earlier here. But either way, some more times coming in. Philip Groner in that 11 truck coming down there on the back straightaway, and he is on his out lap. Let's find somebody else here on a live lap. Looks like the 65 going to be the next one to cross the stripe. Ben Pierce, he ain't going to cross the stripe because he in the wall. Jake Nichols, let's see what he can muster. P4 for Jake. That's pretty sporty.
A good time for Jake.
And then we
Let's see.
So here comes Brian Mercurio coming off of corner number 4. And not going to be the pole, but it's going to be as close to it as you can get.
And I mean, that's really all he needs to do is just be as close as he can. I mean, of course, Sebastian Marin, the king of Thursday nights at the moment, shows up. I mean, if you're Brian Mercurio, you're going to take a swing. And I would like to point out Jalen Handcamp with a 30.555. So look at those top 3. This is the quality that we get in area. Just to brag about area for a second, because I love these guys. This is the quality you see in area. Look at your top 6 in times.
Yeah, and Tanner Love not loving that lap time, but we'll have some last-second Larrys. Justin Anasogak in that number 88. He is in the Mountain Dew going back to the Dale Jr. Hell yeah. Usually it was Dale yeah. Now it's back to hell yeah. So coming off turn number 4, what's that 88 gonna muster here? He's pretty good at the speedway tracks, which I'd say that this would qualify, and that'll put him 300ths off the pole, but that puts him all the way down into 12th with how tight things are.
Crazy to look and see where these times are. Casey Lakatis trying to come through. Where did Mason Kane's lap come from? There's a good question. Casey comes through with a 31.3, and unfortunately for Casey, that puts him well down the order here as he goes all the way down in P30. Gabe Herschel across the line, but Mr. Speedway, I'd argue, Mason Kane, of course, has to put himself top of the charts.
Now, Brad, I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of work with me here.
Okay.
Some of these drivers don't have their red denotions, and I'm just making... Yeah, Jordan Kuntz, he's in the playoffs. I saw Beckner didn't have his denotion either. Most of the playoff drivers are meant to have that red on their nameplate, on their windshield, and I was just making sure that I didn't make the wrong people yellow on the ticker. But I guess some of the paint schemes didn't come over there, so just making sure it was them and not me. So if you see anyone wrong, just make sure you yell at me. I know you like doing that.
That is always fun to do. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, if you hear me yell at someone, just know that it's 100% at Corey, 100% for whatever reason. I have decided to yell at him as if, you know, it comes out of the loving relationship. It's all out of love, Corey. You know that.
Yeah. I did make sure, I did all my work. I did my prep work. I went in and I deleted everyone who missed the round, and I made sure I refreshed it. I did all my back-end work. So, but if some of the drivers messed up, that's on them. That's not on me. But either way, this is the end of warm-up. So now, well, it's the start of warm-up here. Oh, my goodness. It's only, if my brain's not fried, I ain't doing something right here. But yeah, Travis Beckner, he is in the playoffs, but he doesn't have the red denotion that you could see with Mason Kane. So that's a Travis fail. That is not a Corey fail. Just... I like being right, Brad, and I will try to the bitter end to be right. And I'm right. Right?
Just a little peek behind the curtain for those of you. Yeah, when there was a big run back and forth with me and Corey arguing about many things, including the thumbnail that you see on all of the PTR TV videos that we kicked off for 2025 with that little facelift of a refresh that we did. There was a lot of back and forth, and Corey is not always right. But in this instance, I will tell you Corey is right. I tell you something else that is very, very right to know. Mason Kane, Mr. Super Speedway himself, has pulled a bonus point for pole, which is going to be a big deal. Now, Mason Kane is one that I keep an eye on.
Let's bring up the points while you're talking about that again.
So Mason Kane is 8th in points right now, right? But look at this. He gets that one extra point for pole. He's now tied for 7th. Here's the thing for Mason Kane that you need to remember. He won round 1 at Daytona and then just sort of coasted through the season. But he was very confident going in. As soon as we got ready to go into playoffs, I very, very vividly remember him putting in YouTube chat, "Let's go playoff racing. I'm getting a championship." So the fun of the playoff format is that even though Brian Mercurio is so strong and such a great driver, if anything goes wrong for him in this round or next, it could be very quick to see him drop off that top step and maybe not even make the final round.
Yeah, and of course today, this round, Brad, is, I don't want to call it a lottery round because it's not. It doesn't have a super speedway, doesn't have a road course. But if you think about this round and the trucks, Vegas, this is going to be a pack race. There's going to be a lot of drafting, a lot of multi-groove racing here. We're going to go to Auto Club Speedway, rest in peace, because it's never getting converted, let's be real. But we're going to the 2 Mile at Auto Club next week. That track has lanes all over. It's going to be a lot of drafting, a lot of pack action. So there is a very high possibility that some of these drivers will be knocked out due to nothing of their own doing.
And it's so all right.
That is the 43, Jake Matheson and Travis Beckner.
Beckner, yeah.
Not what Hendry County wants to see. And 43, I don't know where he was going, but we missed it. And Casey Lacadas here, just it means nothing because it's warm-up, but he's the fastest in warm-up, so that 50 gets to say something.
It means everything because our logo's on the front of that truck.
Whoa!
Oh,
having a little fun here, but it looks like we have gotten the bump. We've gotten the bump, and we're going to skip the last few minutes of warm-up and head down trackside for the starting lineup. And, of course, as it has been all season long, our starting lineup is brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a small or a large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years. With a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com for more information. And Brad, let's go start off our round of 8 starting lineup here tonight.
And starting out on front is Mr. Super Speedway himself, Mason Kane, with Sebastian Marin, the Thursday Night King, there in second place to his outside. And from there, we're going to go P3, Jalen Handcamp, and then Brian Mercurio, who has an end of line. Important to note there, he is in 4th, but will serve an end of line. Jonathan Evans in 5th, Jake Nichols in 6th. From there, we're going to one Mr. Timmy Pacioli in P7 with a Seth Noel in 8th place. From there, we go P9, Kenny Brady. And then Travis Beckner is going to be outside row number 5.
11th finds Mr. Jake Matheson and Justin Anasogak in the 12th spot. Jeremy Miller in 13th with Philip Groner in the 14th spot. Caden Diedrich will roll off from P15 with P16 being Rocky Boyd the 3rd. 17th, we have the likes of Jake Fisher and Josh Parrish in that PVTR, not PTRT, PVTR Tundra, with Lee Norton the Chicken and Danny Ware. Where is he? We made that joke every race this season, and we will continue to. Danny Ware is in the 20th spot.
Moving on from there, P21 is going to be Garrett Grant with Brad Slaughter Jr. finding his way up into 22nd. Jordan Kuntz will be in P23 with Tanner Love, maybe not loving P24, but that's where he finds himself today. Gabe Herschel will be in P25 with Bryce Sinisak in 26. From there, we're going Ryan Swan and Gary Waterworth to finish out 27th, 28th. Forrest Smith and Ben Pierce will find themselves on the in and outside of row 15, and I'm just going to finish this one off here. Corey, Doug Denier Nice will be 31st. Casey Lakatos in 32nd. Joshua Ballier in 33rd. And Alex Chilcutt in 34th, with Tyler Hallman starting rear of the field.
That is our PTR TV Central Mobile Home starting lineup. As you can see, these drivers who have the issues, they are going to be pulling down on the inside and getting into their arrears position. Our EOL list is as follows. The 82, 24, 55, 85, 60, and 62. The only prep work I didn't do was make that graphic, and that's only because it wasn't done ahead of time, so I couldn't do it. Our race weather here at Sin City, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 77 in the air, 88 track temp at about 3 o'clock virtual time, so that track will go a little bit cooler. Times will go a little bit faster there. And our race details are as follows. I just have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Our race details: 120 laps, of course, no stages, 4 sets of tires. I almost said 4 sets of fuel. Makes sense of that with our fixed sets. And of course, the full fuel load. Haven't been privy to a number, Brad, but I'm going to guesstimate in the mid-60s probably on the fuel load.
Yeah, that's pretty well what I'm going to say, too, is that is right where it's going to be. I think this is going to be a good race, nevertheless, as things go through. Can that 31 finds himself up front? He's got to hold on to it. Honestly, if he wants the win, he probably can fight for the win. Otherwise, he might just let one Mr. Sebastian Marin run away for the short term. We'll see where things land as everyone goes through. I'm trying to just see if there's any other big last-second things to touch on before we go racing here for the round of 8.
That truck on the outside of the front row, always someone to watch out for. Why is my laptop turning off when it's plugged in? It's not supposed to do that. Sebastian Marin, of course, not a normal Truck Series driver. He's going for that Florida Estate Builders Pro Series championship on Thursday night, but every now and then steps down here and tries to have some fun. And I don't really know if you can learn anything heading here to Vegas of all tracks, but, you know, just fun, learning the draft, learning the bumps, all that fun stuff. He's someone that could easily take away that automatic win that somebody might be desiring to transfer through to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Go through, get the win, and then go celebrate at Caesar's Palace, Gordon Ramsay Steak, Las Vegas. I mean, honestly, if I'm him, I'm just looking for 2 wins in a week because it's fun at that point. And this is someone that enjoys racing. He's good at what he does, so just keep an eye on him as he goes through. We'll see what happens. Is the 26, my sponsors left. What?
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Evans, maybe because he missed the playoffs. Maybe he lost his sponsor, but he'll have to win a race. Maybe he'll get another one. But here we come at Las Vegas. The round of 8 is green, green, green. Let's go playoff racing here in Area Trucks.
And away from the line they get very, very well here. And it is Marin, it is Kane. They're going to hold on side by side early on here as they come through. And right off the run here, Mason Kane stretching the legs a little bit here, just trying to clear himself ahead of Sebastian Marin. Handcamp and Nichols 3rd and 4th right behind. They're just going to settle through. And I tell you what, keep it side by side. Keep it 2-wide racing here for the moment. I think that's going to be kind of the play of the game here in Vegas. Play your cards right and just, find a lane, stick to it, and see where it gets you in the long run.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I thought I saw a brief 3-wide instance there. Evans again trying to win for some of those sponsors there, and Timmy Pacioli, he's rocking a different color ride here. He's in the blue, gold, and white truck, that number 86, and we are behind the truck, the pace car. And that's Caden Diedrich in the 24. We'll have to go on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay and see what happens.
What happened to Caden here? So he was, the 55 with a wiggle.
Yeah, we all kind of, as I like to say, coagulated there. You can see the 85 Lee Norton, Josh Parrish. Parrish checked up, and so that just kind of caused a little bit of a stack up. And Diedrich, not too much damage, pretty light impact to the fence. You can see a little bit of a scuffle to that right rear quarter panel, but I don't think that's anything the crew can't take care of.
Yeah, and remember, no fast repairs, no backup trucks here around in area. So you get what you get. Don't throw a fit. And for Caden, it'll be a case of just swing it in the box there. Let the guys take a sledgehammer to a fender, throw some fresh tires on, and you'll be okay for the moment here. Nobody's going to pit yet.
Hey, Brad.
What?
Can I work on that saying for you? It's you get
the saying is
you get what you get, and you don't get upset. I think that's what the actual saying is.
The saying is, I know it. I can't say on a broadcast.
That's what I say to my kids when it's dinner and they don't want to eat it. I say, you get what you get. You don't get upset. So, but there's multiple ways to fry a chicken. There's the right way and there's the wrong way. Our admin have dictated that incident was a netcode incident. Now, we didn't get to look at it in depth. We looked at it high level, but zooming in on it, something caused an issue there with the internet system. So no incident points to be delegated, which is very good, because remember, when you get a +2, which is a full at-fault incident, you are getting an EOL in the subsequent race. And if you already have an incident on your record, that turns into a drive-through, and then eventually, if you have a lot of incidents on your record, you park it. So that incident deemed no fault.
Yeah, usually here in area, the most that we really see drivers get is the occasional drive-through. Everybody tends to be fairly clean and really keep it together now. Of course, Bristol was all the way back on the 24th of June, if you can remember, back before Nashville, so 2 races ago. That was a race that there were quite a few incident points handed out that we saw served last week in Nashville. But I mean, other than that, and that's just because it's short track racing, let's be honest. Other than that, you don't really tend to see these guys get a lot of incident points in any of the area series, Cup Truck, or the Florida State Builders Pro Series. So you tend to just sort of see them really keep it together. Every once in a while, moments happen, but nothing too egregious coming through. Watch Jake Nichols on this restart. That's the truck to watch. If you want to give your opinion on who to watch, Corey, mine is watch Jake Nichols.
Well, I would always vouch for that, but I'd also say that number 23 to the outside. But I will say on the restarts, Brad, lane choice is a thing for the front row. Here at tracks like Vegas, where it takes a little bit of time to get up to your momentum, your full speed, the inside usually is the place to be in turns 1 and 2. But when you get to 3 and 4, I personally would rather be the guy pinching the inside lane and getting that run off the outside. So if Marin can stay alongside Mason through 1 and 2, I think he has the upper edge through 3 and 4. But we know how difficult it is to time those restarts, and we've seen all season that second place car on the restart on either lane has been at such a disadvantage.
It really has, and I'm going to be curious to see here as the pace car peels off here coming out of turn 4 where that goes, because on that race start, I mean, we saw Mason Kane get a good run there early on and be able to hold on and keep his way through and clear out of 2 there from the inside. As you said, that's the run there. Is the pace car takes a very late peel off. We go towards that Echo Park restart zone, and Mason Kane is going to take us back. Green flag racing here, lap 5. It'll be lap 6 as they cross the line. And what a good jump is Sebastian Marin. I don't know if he missed a gear or what happened, but he is very slow off the restart.
Well, your pick there, Jake Nichols on the restart in that inside lane. The inside here at Vegas, very, very bumpy. But again, the shorter distance while you're getting up to speed, usually the place to be. But you can see Marin got that run to the outside. They are 3 wide, and a playoff driver in the middle of that, Mr. Travis Beckner, as well as a playoff driver, Timmy Pacioli. He's all the way up there a little bit too high on the banking and will fall back in the line. Philip Groner to his inside. 43 of Jake Matheson in play here. And you'll just watch here at Vegas the different progressive bank spread. The inside is the flattest, the middle has 19 bank, and the top has 20. So you can use each lane to your advantage as we have a battle for the lead.
And as we have this battle for the lead, this is between Jake Nichols, Mason Kane. I'll tell you right now, they're not going to race. They're going to race respectfully, but they're going to race hard. So keep your eye anytime you see those yellow banners side by side there going through. Is a tap to the wall for Jake Nichols on the exit of 4 as they come down the main stretch here into turn 1. Sebastian Marin has a run. Does he dare take it 3 wide? He's going to have to pick a truck to follow. And for the second, I thought he was going to follow Jake Nichols through, but no, he's going to actually just split between the two, give neither one the advantage and say, y'all figure yourselves out. Now Jake Nichols Nichols stretches the legs, gets through. Mason Kane's there on the inside. Sebastian Marin will try to look to have a moment as well here, and we're going to bring it back around for more fighting here off of turn 4 between these two.
Yeah, coming off of the corner here. I said that middle lane, using that 19 degrees of banking. Now 19 degrees of banking along with a little bit of draft. Marin's going to help out, and Kane's going to have to work through the bumps on the inside of the raceway here. And Jonathan Evans trying to make that lower lane work side by side. Behind that, you have Seth Noel, you have Jalen Handcamp, and then Travis Beckner. Again, pack-style racing. Everybody, for the most part, 2x2 through the vast majority of the field, Brad.
Yeah, and honestly, that is what I was expecting to see coming into the night, was that side-by-side, that 2x2 racing here, as Jake Nichols will stretch his legs, clear out. Mason Kane now has to fight Sebastian Marin. With Jonathan Evans, the white sponsorless truck, has to pick who he wants to follow, and again, he picks that I'm going to pick neither, and kind of splits the gap between the two and says, I'll figure something out here, as Mason Kane tries to stretch the truck out. He wants to get the back of that truck clear the front of Sebastian Marin. He needs to settle that one in and go through. Is if you're Jake Nichols right now, all you're doing is looking ahead. You don't want to know what those two behind you are doing. Big wiggle from Marin off the exit of 4, and that's going to clear things through as Jake Nichols goes way down low.
Now Nichols going down to the inside of the track, and Kane will temporarily clear Marin. Will he shut the door? He will shut the door on Marin. Will Marin stay in line? Will he cross over? He'll stay in line. Because if Marin goes into the wrong lane, he may lose a spot to Evans. Going a little bit further back, you have Parrish in that number. It's not Parrish. It looks like Parrish, but it's actually Timmy Pacioli. That blue truck is throwing me off. But 2 playoff drivers, 8th and 9th, Pacioli and Beckner. And then you look all the way back to that 17th spot. You have Coots, a playoff driver. He's back there. And then all the way back on his comeback tour from that EOL, Brian Mercurio. He is just catching the back end of that main draft there, Brad. So if he can play his lines accordingly, he'll be there and as long as the tires will last.
I think for Mercurio, the big key for him all the way back there is patience. And remember, you don't win this race on lap 12. We're only a 10th of the way through. You win it on lap 120. So if you're that 82, I would just focus one position at a time, one moment at a time. As we're going to go pretty wide here off the exit of 2, the 86, the 30, the 28, making me a little nervous there if you can't tell, as the 86 is just trying to wiggle his way through, find somewhere to be, as Beckner is going to be back in the back, as that's a slide up from the 30. I thought that was going to go really bad.
Yeah, he had the front row seat there. Timmy Pacioli did. Miller and Handcamp. Miller ran out of space, ran out of grip there on that inside lane. Handcamp was kind of holding him tight there, but within the realms of normality there, Pacioli could have went 3 wide, decided to stay where he is. Matheson looking to the outside of Evans here, and we're already seeing that middle outside lane seeming to be preferred. Everyone's having problems with the grip on the inside, being able to make it stick and keep those passes flowing.
Everybody's getting big wiggles out of 4. That's really what's caught me off guard at this point, is those turn 4 exits. It seems like everyone's really having a time as the 20 taps the wall there on the entry into 1. Ryan Swan there deciding to spread his wings and learn how to fly there to the outside as we come through. Again, there's that exit of 2. I don't really see people hitting the wall. It's this exit of 4 that's caught me off guard, as that 31 is still right on the rear deck lid of the 73 of Jake Nichols. Exit of 4, here we go. And Mason Kane, I think if I'm him right now, I just settle in and I just pressure Jake Nichols like crazy.
Now at this point, I mean, you're using a little bit of slipstream and losing a little bit of draft. I wouldn't say aero push is too big of a deal here, because you're largely flat and there's different places you can get some clean air. So if you can do that, do it. Just, if anything, you might save a skosh of fuel. I mean, right, we didn't get exactly privy, but I mean, look at the race distance. Even our terrible math skills can do 120 divided by 2. That's 60. So this race could fall into a 1-stop strategy. We'll see the fall off. Maybe it'll be a 2-stop race if the fall off is there, if it stays green. But saving a little bit of fuel certainly can't hurt things.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw last week in Nashville is, one stop versus two stop. What did you want to do? Of course, if you watch Thursday night here, it went 100% green last week at Nashville. The Truck Series almost did that. And then with just under 10 to go, a little bit of a moment happened and kind of mixed things up. But yeah, I think really that's going to be the big thing. And, without the behind the scenes information, I would almost argue if you're going off of the basis of last week, a lot of these guys might try to make a two-stop work, even though it is, on fuel, I'm sure they can make one-stop work and be fine. But I would not be surprised if we see a lot of guys peel off around lap 45 or so and decide to make their first pit stops.
Yeah, very well could be the case here. Saw in the fence there was Jeremy Miller in the 30 truck. Didn't help that he's having Jonathan Evans bump drafting him all the way to that rear deck lid. We did notice, we did some inside information. Usually we notice things on our own, Brad, but it surpassed us. Garrett Conrath, currently third in the points, as we've shown the points a few times here in this broadcast. He's not here. So I guess we can just very quickly bring the points up as a little perspective there. You can see 30 points out, 14. He's going to immediately fall out of the playoffs. Remember, the fourth place spot is going to be the cut line going forth, so that's going to be very hard for him to overcome next week at Auto Club. So we'll see how that comes into play, seeing how those guys fifth on back can trudge on through here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately for Conrath, that kind of puts him in a win to move forward position next week, or not next week, but 2 weeks from now at Auto Club. So I do not envy the position he's going to find himself in, but everyone below him, they're going to be pretty happy to kind of see things work out that way. Hopefully everything's okay with Garrett Conrath. Pretty unusual to see him miss a race, honestly. He hasn't missed a race all season, so unfortunate to see the first race of the season missed, being one of such importance. But, there is this pesky thing called real life that I think rears its head every once in a while that just sort of prevents, things here and there from happening. As we've gotten 21 laps in here, and some drivers deciding to rip the fence. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing does model a lot of the physics that do assist in that lane working. Of course, it's not just using the greater distance around the speedway. It is actually a matter of aerodynamics and creating a wall bubble and all that stuff. So it does get modeled here in the sim. So some drivers will be able to use that if you have the cojones and the skill to run it an inch off the wall. I certainly can't. You can see hand camp all the way up there, third lane, not quite on the fence, but third lane indeed, as he will have the push from the 30 and fight from the charge from the 26 as well.
And keeping that fight moving along here, Sebastian Marin going to look to have a little bit of a sniff there on Jake Nichols. Of course, Sebastian Marin knows he's not a playoff contender. He wants to win. He's not going to do anything that's going to, force a moment, possibly cause a playoff contender to lose the playoff run. But Sebastian Marin's still going to race hard as he's ripping the high line here. Everybody has moved up the track as we go and continue to do so. I'm trying to look and see tire fall off-ish where we're going. That's an engine inspection that I didn't plan on doing today. So kind of times as they stand right now, we're over a second to fall off in, and I have asked, kind of thinking what we're looking at. Kind of behind the scenes, we've been told that the one stop could be a net gain for mid-pack, but two stop will probably win the race. Just kind of gotta watch and see what happens. Nate Stewart.
Now, Brad, we have to really put our thinking hats on, which is very difficult for us.
Don't tell me to do this on a Tuesday night.
But we're only 25 laps in and 1.3 seconds of fall off. That's pretty extreme, even, for iRacing standards. So that goes into play of, do you want to rip a 40 and 80? Do you want to, stretch it out to lap 60? Be very interesting to see. I don't think anybody pitted. There was two drivers that pit. Mercurio pit for fuel. And actually, we had Pierce, Ballier, Smith, Anasogak, and Denites also pit for fuel on that first and only caution of the race. So we'll see what happens there as things are getting hot. And since we're having a lot of green flag racing, let's talk about the sponsor on that number 28 car. Hendry County Motorsports Park. Racing will return on September 20th. with tickets at $20 for adults. Kids age 5 and under get in free. Family pack of 4 for $25. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America in Clewiston, Florida. You can head to hendryracing.com. And we were told, I think in our chat last week, they are doing some kind of fun race at the end of August, but they are on their summer hiatus there at Hendry County.
Yeah, Jason Beckner actually just put that in YouTube chat. August 30th, Hendry County Motorsports Park is doing the 2025 Sugar Slam, $2,000 to win Demo Derby, $1,500 to win Enduro, $1,000 Mad Dog Award, and much, much more. His exact words. And I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, but a Demo Derby sounds like fun right now.
That sounds like fun as long as I'm not broadcasting it in a race that's not supposed to be one. But if it's supposed to be one and it is one, certainly I would take my family there. Fortunately, I'm 1,800 miles away from Hendry Racing, but if you can't head down to Hendry County, well, you'll head. That's Jeremy Miller. 30 truck for 609 Motorsports had a little bit of an issue of sorts. Now let's take a look.
I know we're talking about a Demo Derby, but man, don't get started on your own. Let's see here what the 30 did.
16 just had a very late entry into the corner there. And that's Rocky Boyd, and hell of a save there. I don't know if that's quite the Ricky Rudd Save of the Race award, but good save nonetheless for Miller, and he'll chug on.
Yeah, if that 30 gets back up near that 16, he's going to remember that, and they'd be an interesting pair to watch.
Beckner into a invisible truck. That is Rocky Boyd. And he's back, and that's not something a playoff driver wants to be dealing with, is a truck with connectivity issues that puts him in precarious spots, as Beckner really tight on that inside. Pacioli just behind that, and then you have Jake Fisher in the 84. They're trying to pinch that 28 down, get him choo-choo to the back of the train using the inside lane.
Yeah, and watch that 86 and that 84 work together here, because they're really going to try to work that 28 forward. They know that they want Pacioli ahead. Let's see what they do here as they go. Man, I'll tell you what, Rocky Balboa, Boyd there, giving me a big old scare coming through. I almost wonder if his moment there with the number 30 didn't involve a little bit of that Houdini action as well as it went through. We didn't see it on our side, but hey, you never know what they saw on their side. Is Sebastian Marin, look at this, trying to rip the high line around Jake Nichols up front. It is well alive in Vegas. I don't know if you put your chips on red, put your chips on black, or if you decide to say hit or miss if you're playing blackjack. I don't know what you want to do here, but it seems like anyone you bet on right now is probably a safe-ish option.
If that doesn't cause arrow loose, was that a little bit of a smooch there? I don't know if Jake Nichols has a partner or not, but that could get qualified as cheating, as close as Sebastian Marin was there off turn number 2. Gets down to the inside, and again fighting on that lesser banking on these older tires, really tight off of the corner. And now Seth Noel says, I'm inviting myself to this party whether you want me or not.
Watch this as they come through into 1 and 2 side by side. I think Jake got a little lucky that the Toyota Sebastian Marin has a very flat front end when you look at it, because as he goes through, as Jake Nichols says hello, goodbye, see you later, and Sebastian Marin slots in. Watch that one of Seth Noel with a run though out of 2, down into 3 we go. That's a hard dive, man. And
we're under caution. Terrible timing. That was some juicy stuff there, but I think we got ourselves. Oh, we got ourselves a big one. That's Beckner.
No, not a playoff driver.
Take a look at our Hendry. We talked about Hendry County, but not in this we're down the back straight. What in the heaven's name? Yeah, we'll go one more game. Oh, they're 3 wide. 67 and the 11 kind of kerfuffled, and the 28 was an innocent bystander in it. And Philip Groner down the inside. Someone had a little residual spin there. That's the 09 of Senesac. I think Josh Ballier. We'll go on board with Ballier. He was a little bit further back, so maybe this will give us a perspective from a distance.
So there's the initial spin. Lock her down, send it inside, and he just got loose coming off the banking there, trying to get down to the flat.
Let's get one more look from Mr. Beckner, because again, this is a playoff driver, so playoff implications. You get to see how tight that sandwich was. They all just kind of bumped off of each other there, and let's just kind of assess. I've never seen a truck get aerial from that perspective, but 35 of Danny Ware Oh, that was a hit from Tanner Love, and there's Senesac. So I was going to say originally I thought Beckton would be all right, but that secondary impact may have changed my mind.
Yeah, that was a very, very weird one. And this couldn't be a worse timed caution, I would say, for a lot of people. Couldn't be a better timed caution for a lot of people. As we see lap 35 and 120, everybody's going to be coming in 4 tires. Everybody's going to be coming in fuel. And they are all going to be ripping out of the pits here. I don't see anyone that's not in the pits, which is very, very not surprising, because when you have a caution right here, and, some guys were probably debating one stop or two, very much the answer now. You kind of force yourself into that 2 stop, because there's no sense in staying out when the fall off was approaching 2 seconds at that point.
Yeah, and I think it pretty much puts us into a box where from this juncture on, if you think of it this way, this will be by 45 laps to the next window. So yeah, we're kind of cemented into one more pit stop. Puts everyone kind of in that ballpark. So we lost our strategy game, which is a little disappointing, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Not that I recommend crumble cookies, because they're doughy and overpriced for what they are. Podcast topic. That wreck incident is being deemed as a racing incident. So again, on that wreck, admin not putting any direct fault, just calling it a racing deal with a little smidgen of netcode sprinkled on top.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it seemed like since the update, netcode has been a little bit more willing to rear its head every once in a while than it has been before. But, again, one of those that sometimes it's good just to not see someone deemed at fault for the accident. Again, it's unfortunate, but that's the nature of online racing. You're racing with people all across the country in a very tight formation at a virtual speed approaching 200 miles an hour. You're going to have those moments every once in a while here. I think the big thing for me that kind of upsets me is that we're forced into a 2-stop.
Yeah, well, you never know what could happen, Brad. There could be a very awkwardly timed caution that, puts everyone in that spot where you have to make a tough call for the track position, or maybe we have a caution at lap 55 where it puts us into a fuel mile. You never quite know how these things will end, which is why we have to stay tuned until lap number 120, or potentially even lap 121, 122, 123. We have some overtime to play with here. Not that we would like that to happen, but what we would like to happen is to get back to some green flag racing. Sebastian Marin to the outside. That hasn't been his ideal restart place today. Maybe into the Echo Park restart zone, he'll sort something out here and give himself a better shot at it. Jake Nichols on that loud pedal. Seth Noel, he's ready to party, but that 23 again struggling on the outside.
I don't know what it is with restarts for Sebastian Marin, but he has not been a fan of them, as nobody seems to be a fan in the mid pack there on a restart. I see 3 wide, the 30, the 60, the 81 coming through. That starts with Jeremy Miller, Brad Slaughter Jr., and Alex Chilcutt that have decided to go 3 wide there very quick, and they're going to hold on 3 wide there as the 78 wants to send his way through. Hold your breath. Everyone's on fresh tires, so grip should be there. It's just a matter of keeping it together, and they go back double file for the moment. Some guys go way to the flat, and some guys are going to stay on the banking. Yeah,
Brad Slaughter down to the bottom. I will say that apron lane here at Vegas is rather bumpy, so if you do dip below that lane on the front straightaway off the racing surface, you will have a little bit of work to do on that wheel, and Marin goes high-low elevator move, drops to the bottom of Nichols. He won't be able to do the diver. He was too close to it, too much grip, but he's going to try to shut the door, but he's going to have to leave it open just a bit. Nichols will get that momentum to the outside, and our sponsor list number 26 of Jonathan Evans, he's going to try to give the push to that 73 up top, but again, Seth Noel, he's been showing some speed, working with the 23 down low.
I tell you what, that 73 had his pinky toe still in the door there, and I wouldn't even say pinky toe. I'd say pinky toe nail to hold that door open there just enough that he can continue to battle through as we're 2x2 up front. 26 in the 1 just following behind as Mason Kane has dropped a little bit there with Rocky Balboa Boyd the third in P6 there behind. Look at this side-by-side coming across the line. It will be Sebastian Marin here by milliseconds that keeps the lead, as Jake Nichols is now scored as the leader going into 1 and 2 around the high line. Again, plenty plenty of grip there for those two to figure it out. They'll come off of 2, hold it side by side, and I tell you what, they're going to have to figure it out as Jonathan Evans has picked his fan there on the outside of Jake Nichols, but Marin fights it back through 3 and 4 here, Corey. I mean, this is very, very hard racing, and remember, one of these guys isn't even a playoff or a regular driver.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a high-risk situation, but for Nichols, you want to race hard, you want to win, you want that instant transfer into Charlotte. We're not going to Homestead, we're not going to Phoenix. It's I always go back 2015 when Jeff Gordon won. Yeah, we're going to Homestead. You want to say, yeah, we're going to Charlotte, but you don't want to get taken out driving too hard, especially Nichols, who does have the playoff points to give himself a little bit of a buffer. But someone who has a buffer and is trying to not use it is Brian Mercurio. He has worked his way into the top 10 in that Rebel Rabbit Ford F-150. He is in the top 10, and now he's in the thick of it where all this heavy-duty racing has been going on.
I always think it's funny that we call these F-150s because they look so much more like a Ford Ranger to me. Maybe that's because I see a Ford Ranger in my driveway every day. But that's also a podcast topic that we could talk about later. That 82, keep your eye on him because he's driving through very well, but he's about to hit probably the hardest traffic that he's going to hit all day if he wants to get another win on the season, try to extend his lead and hold on going into Charlotte, as Mason Kane is right there holding on as much as humanly possible to as many positions as he can, but he's got Rocky Boyd there on the outside. But again, remember, you don't win these races on lap 43. You win them on 120 as he comes through, but still holding that fight hard side by side. Little bit of possible door tap, left tap there, but they'll keep it moving, keep it grooving here as the big blocks coming up from Seth Noel.
Yeah, Seth Noel in that one. He's right behind Evans now, and you can see using that middle lane, that 19 degrees of banking here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, reconfigured in 2007. It used to be 12 degrees of banking here. Some people preferred that layout. Personally, I did as well. Thought it was a little bit more unique, but they went to that integrated progressive banking that Homestead and Kansas have gone to in Bristol. That different tiers of banking gives you those different lanes and opportunities here. But Seth Noel in that one, and then Rocky Boyd, he is in that position number 5. Mason Kane down to the inside. He's heading the wrong way. Not quite, I wouldn't go as far to say Alicia Keys mode, but soon to it there in that number 31. Matheson just behind.
And Mason Kane needs to engage the turbo, the supercharger, the NOS, whatever he's got in that thing. And just to quote his sponsor, he needs to find the Hucket and send it forward here if he can.
He needs to.
He's definitely going to try to.
I don't know who sings this because it's a new age rap song, but everyone is stopping him, and that's for that reason he's not all the way up. No one can stop me. I'm trying. I can only do song quotes from about 2007 prior, so that's as good as I get for an old man here. Let's go back in the pack here and find some other racing to be had, some drivers we haven't followed. Forrest Smith, I remember him doing quite well. I think he got a top 10 at Nashville last week. Had to load that thought there to show my age even further. Travis Beckner not doing too shabby, 23rd, and that truck is still pretty sporty, so that crew must have done a pretty decent job there as he's battling with Gary Waterworth back in 22nd.
Yeah, Beckner just on the claw back forward, which, again, that's just all he needs to do right now is just one position, couple positions at a time as he can, and just focus forward. He is very much in damage control mode at this point, which it's unfortunate for him, but hey, in 2 weeks when he goes to Auto Club, he could find himself in a very good position. You never know right now. Again, it's just damage control. Get as many points as you can. And if you're Beckner, you're just trying to set yourself up for a very, very good penultimate round in 2 weeks. Checking back in, though, with Brian Mercurio here, who is still running just right here in the top 10 as they come through 3 and 4. I mean, he is just there. Nothing is holding him back.
Yeah, he is. Nothing can stop him. He's all the way up to the 10th position. I don't know who sings it, raps it. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I know. But what we can tell you is we're on lap number 50, and if you're on your way to work tomorrow and you just need a little bit something on the radio, perhaps you don't want to listen to that new age rap music. You can listen to the High Banks podcast. Two blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Probably have a good one after the Chicago street race, I imagine. Episode 228 has Jacob Bell, but there's been a myriad of new episodes ever since on the High Banks podcast. Listen to it on Spotify.
Tell you what, High Banks podcast after Chicago, I bet that one is one to listen to. I'll probably go listen to it, honestly, because I bet that's going to be good here. Just like if there was an area podcast, I bet it'd be really good to listen to. Jacob Bell, I'm not saying you should do that. Maybe we should do that.
We should make an area podcast?
I don't know. Make a podcast in general. We keep talking about it at this point. I feel like if I went through the broadcast that we've done in the past, year and a half, 2 years, I've been working with you here at PTR TV, I could probably get us a lot of good podcast topics.
Yeah, but then we lose the shtick that we need a podcast. So, we'll decide. We'll decide in due course eventually here. Mason Kane rocking that outside lane through turn 3 and 4, trying to get the run on Jordan Kuhn. Jordan Kuhn's another driver who we talked about him a little while ago. He was in the mid to late teens, and now he's currently in the outskirts of the top 5. He's in 6th, just trying to knock on the door of that top 5. Rocky Boyd there, so playoff driver who's looking for some spots to be had. Timmy Pacioli, he is now the, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think he is the second to last playoff driver right now in that 86. Only to Travis Beckner, who's had issues.
Yeah, it's, again, unfortunate for Beckner. He's in the recovery mode here and very much finds himself on the back foot. Just everyone has really settled in here. I hate that the strategy got taken out by that caution, but it's still there a little bit because we know they can't go on fuel. We know they can't go on tires. I didn't know that we were performing multi-point inspections here at PTR TV. I wish you had briefed me beforehand on that as we watched Jake Nichols and Sebastian Marin figure themselves out here, go through. Sebastian Marin a little loose off of 4, but hey, a loose truck is a fast truck. He's going to send it up the inside through 1 and 2, and new race leader at least through 1 and 2. Sebastian Marin shut the door, let me tell you. That is a slide up mid-corner, and I'm shocked Jake didn't absolutely take him out there.
That is called a slider. That is called a guy who is thinking big picture there. Let's just watch this from the front. Get a little bit closer perspective. Yeah, he checked up, and even checking up, he missed it by about a skosh there. So that is a guy thinking big picture there, Jake Nichols. If he wasn't, who's to say, well, what happened? But no need to discuss that because it didn't happen here. But Mason Kane, he is, I think, maybe trying to have a late run truck because he dropped back, but now he's trying to work his way up. Now he's in 6th, and he's not too far off of the other drivers, but now you have Jordan Kuhn also trying to show a late run truck here, but now that Sebastian Marin has taken the lead there, Brad, I mean, for this whole race has been a pack race. Is he the driver that is somehow able to pull away by himself?
I don't think so, because fastest truck on the track right now is that P6 truck of Mason Kane, 31.71 to a 31.78 from Sebastian Marin. So, I mean, if you're thinking Mason Kane is going to be the one to run forward if he wants that late run truck, he's doing pretty good. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, because once strategy gets neutralized, it all comes down to who's behind the wheel. And sometimes your better option is to just save tires early on, let it go a little bit later into the race. So as we come through around, I mean, he's running times to match the leader, which is what you need to do at this point.
Yeah, 1/1000th off first to second. Mason Kane tied with Marin, and he is in a battle here. So that battle likely slowing him down a little bit aerodynamically. Travis Beckner to scoop, showing him he's up to 20th spot. For those wondering, he's getting through, but very, very slowly. Jeremy Miller in that 30 truck. Remember, he had an issue and got a little bit of wall contact, but he's chugging along with Garrett Grant. Garrett Grant, he has definitely been a driver who's been faster as of late as he door slams the 30, as I compliment him. He has been faster as of late, not showing it so far today, but that 5 still has plenty of time to pick some spots off.
Yeah, I mean, just again, here's the thing too to remember, and I will just remind everyone of this because I have to remind myself of this. Just because they're not a playoff truck doesn't mean they're not racing for a win here. I mean, they're going to still be racing hard. You see the 80 and the 60 there, absolutely showing each other, I'd say, some friendly love there going through. But even if you're not a playoff driver, you still want to win. I mean, you're still going to race hard, as we see Seth Noel, Jonathan Evans. I mean, Jonathan Evans is a prime example. You lose all your sponsorships, you got to get a win to get them back. And hey, you never know. He could impress us up here in the booth. We could sign some sponsorship deals coming up. Casey Lakatos, you never know. We like our logo in places, so
that's all
Jonathan
you.
Evans.
That's all you.
I mean, fair. That is the HR side of things.
Yeah, I just press the buttons. You're the legal person. Speaking of the Casey Lakatos, he is in the or it's Lakatos if I just feel like getting on his bad side. He's currently running in the 26th spot. Danny Ware just behind Tyler Hallman. Kenny Brady, we missed it. But he was allocated a +1 on the incident chart, which means typically a wreck that didn't maybe cause a caution or it wasn't catastrophic, but some racing situation that admin didn't find kindly, so they do give a little bit of a slap on the wrist. Didn't catch it, and I really don't have a way to find it, but just for the record book, he did get a +1 on lap number 41.
Yeah, and you can see he's a little bit off the pace of the lead pack, so I would imagine that was some sort of a incident where he tapped with another truck, and maybe he took the brunt of the damage there and could have been side by side and through a turn. Not really sure. As we watch Brian Mercurio now up into P8. He's around Kuntz, he's around Pacioli. Now he's got to get past Rocky Balboa Boyd here, and I got to wonder if Baba Bowie Boyd is going to make this a harder battle or what. But meanwhile, Jordan Kuntz has said, no, not so fast, Brian. You'll be fine without the points here for the day. Go back to the back as Seth Noel, Jake Nichols, and Jonathan Evans are letting Sebastian Marin stretch his legs a little bit, and they are battling it out. Meanwhile, Mason Kane just behind in 5th, looking for something somewhere.
Yeah, Kane fell back to 7th and now back into the top 5 here as this race has surely been entertaining. And if you needed some entertainment at your next party, Elite Entertainment from Boiling Spring, South Carolina can surely help with their high-quality band production and entertainment services at any location. They got karaoke, singo, and more. Elite Entertainment, visit the link tree in the description for more information. If this race isn't entertaining enough, or if your next work meeting is going to be a little bit boring and you're in that area, give him a shout out here as the 26 going for the Vegas diver all the way to the inside. Noel was ripping the fence, and I imagine that 26 is going to lose the time here on exit. He will. Noel is going to do the crossover down to the flat here, and will we be trading sliders here at 1.5 miles?
The answer is a resounding yes, because look at the 1 come through, but the 26 is going to cross over back down low. The 43 of Jake Matheson will be holding on as well, as we see everyone just kind of continue to sort out the flow here, sort out the rhythm, figure out where they want to be where. And Seth Noel, Jonathan Evans, I mean, this is hard fighting from a playoff driver and a non-playoff driver. But again, you're racing for win, you're racing for sponsorships, you're racing for, the glory, to be honest. Seth Noel has a lot to lose. Jonathan Evans a lot to lose. And we'll check back in here with the 88. Justin Anasogak, who's trying to race Jalen Hankamp with the 5 of Garrett Grant there in the mix. I mean, all of these guys still want to win. They're not just here racing to race. They want wins, because a winning area is a very big deal. As we see the 88, the 67 continue side by side here on the back end.
It's a Vegas haymaker. It's a Vegas haymaker. Can he clear it though? No, he can't. But they're trying. That is the late race strat. It's dishing haymakers out there. Those low blows there, and just trying to make sure you clear before they can get back at you. You talk about it out. We don't cover a lot of dirt racing. That's why the word wasn't on my tongue when I first tried to think of it. We don't cover a lot of dirt racing. That's what you talk about at Eldora, is doing those big slide jobs. But sometimes at these high lane tracks, that's how you get by. And caution flag just past halfway. Senesac, Denice. They are down to the inside of the backstretch wall, which is not the racing line, for those who did not know.
So I'm going to imagine that they were involved in this one, as Casey Lakatos, it looks like, was right there.
Did he spin himself out? No. So the wreck.
A little wall tap there.
So cue up our replay to Mr. Bryce Senesac here. He was 3 abreast with Smith and Smith into the fence. We'll get one more look at it. Saw another truck get the left sides in the air. Not something that you see every day. Left sides in the air, waving like they just don't care.
I couldn't say that fast enough. Doggone it, Corey. Good avoiding action from everyone around that, though, I have to say.
And admin, again, calling it another racing incident / a little sprinkle of netcode in there. So no
Jake
direct
Nichols
fault.
there. Jake Nichols there almost rear-ended Sebastian Marin going into the pit lane. I don't know if you just caught that there for that brief second, but big old lurch from the truck there. I'm not sure if Marin was trying to get slower. Jake Nichols is just trying to eke out tenths of a second between timing lines, but doggone, going through, and great stop in the box there. Mason Kane, did he get stopped in that box? Just barely. Doggone, he came in quick.
Yep, and we are at a spot now, Brad, where fuel will not be a concern to our knowledge. We'll be going green with 50 to go, but tire wear will certainly come into play, and maybe we'll have that certain timed caution that will put tire wear back into the thick of it. But Sebastian Marin getting out of the pits first. He did pull away to the biggest lead we've seen a single truck accomplish here, which was about a half a second. So certainly impressive there by him, but not much of a surprise. But other things that are impressive is Rick's Hot Sauce. You can head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made in South Florida. There's the Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Beach Heat. Rick's Hot Sauce is sponsoring the Rookie of the Year battle in the Cup Series on Monday nights with $100 to win for that best placing rookie. You can catch that on Mondays on IDK Player, but you can also head over to rickshotsauce.com and spice up your next meal.
I don't think we need any hot sauce here in Vegas, other than maybe with some food, but this racing has been great so far here as we come through on to lap 69 of 120. Very nice to see that we have made it this far into the race. 1 to green here as they're going to form up double file. Again, I'd keep an eye on Brian Mercurio, Jordan Coons, Pacioli, Mason Kane. Those 4 trucks, specifically Mason Kane's been sleeping. Mercurio's been driving his way forward. Coons and Pacioli have been very consistent in their positioning. I would say that those 4 are going to just make a dive for the front of the field here. And we know how Sebastian Marin has done on race restarts here, but maybe he'll be better this time. Only one way to find out.
Yeah, he is the control vehicle here this time, and he hasn't had that title thus far in the event. Nichols will be in that treacherous outside lane where, I don't want to say treacherous from a difficulty perspective. It's not difficult to get on the loud pedal up there, but what's difficult to do is to get that timing to stay with the leader and evading any kind of jumping penalties or anything like that. So we'll see what happens here. Noel hasn't led a lap yet, but he has certainly the speed to do so in that number 1 truck. And a lot of drivers, Mercurio, that 82, could very well find himself in the thick of it here before this night comes to a conclusion. But coming off of turn number 4, the pace truck pulls into the pits. Pace car pulls into the pits. We'll head into that Echo Park restart zone, and there goes that jump by the 23, and there goes the struggle by the 73.
Second place is not the place to be on restart. Sebastian Marin will try to stretch his legs, but I don't know if he's going to be able to quickly as we're 3 wide back in the mid-pack, which is not what you want to see, but fresh tires, full fuel, I'm sure they'll be okay, right? That's just going to be a casual little moment there. I see that 88 truck, Dale, yeah, they're in the mix, is mid to back pack. We're not at Talladega, we're not at Daytona, but they're racing like it right now.
Yeah, Vegas does not have 28 degrees of banking like its sister at Atlanta, but they're racing like it and wrecking like it. That's Fisher and Handcamp right in shot. Caught that one live. Points to the producer.
So points to yourself. That was
of course.
I saw that one coming from a mile away, though. I mean, I'm just saying, you're 3 wide on the race restart, racing that hard on a track that is not really set up to do that, and Beckner was in the mix there as well, the 28. Yeah, unfortunately, that is what you're going to have, and I mean, these guys are just racing hard, though. They know it's all to play for at this point. But watch here as they come through. That 84 on the low side is the one that I'm really watching because he comes up, the 28
it was
there.
the wiggle from Handcamp that started it.
Yeah.
And that wiggle from Handcamp just got him down into that truck in the middle, and then ultimately from there it was what it was. So Travis Beckner, not what he wants to see, because he has been in one wreck and very close to the second one there, but he stays out, so obviously not too concerned in that camp. But as we come down to lap number 72, a chance for us to help you look good and feel good with some shop.area iRacing merch. You can visit there, shop.areairacing.com, for high quality merch at low prices from over 100 selection of t-shirts, hats, champion clothing, and other accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com. And we also forgot to thank our Twitch viewers, because Twitch has been working for us, which is now great. And of course, consider subscribing on Twitch. Your $5 a month helps the league out, but it earns you double points that you can redeem for free merch amongst getting your custom emotes. So thanks to all of those on the Twitch side of things. And we have some drivers perhaps trying to save fuel, running the flat there, something usually you see at fuel mileage races, shortening the distance, but I don't know if they're having fun or if they're concerned.
I almost wonder if they're not trying to save a little bit just in case there is a green-white checkered run and they can get away with maybe gaining those extra places, not having to pit near the end. We are right on the bridge of where I would say you're okay with
Brad
fuel.
Slaughter. Is he actually
needs to pit?
Is he pitting? Or, I mean, drivers do silly things. I've been on iRacing since 2008, and I have seen drivers do crazy things under yellow to entertain themselves. I've seen people run the Le Mans chicane on the backstretch at Daytona. I have seen people intentionally do donuts on the back straightaway, not in a league setting, but, you know, an official side. But maybe they were trying to shorten the track. Whatever they were doing, they're not doing it now, because they're getting doubled up, stacked up, ready to go back green flag racing. We'll go back on 74, which mathematics says is 46 to go.
I'm glad you can do the math, because I definitely couldn't have done that here. As we come through, Sebastian Marin again will be the control truck on this restart. Sebastian Marin, we know, will have a great restart. The big key will be, what will Jake Nichols be able to do to respond, and then how does everyone behind that go, and who decides to take it 3 wide very quickly off of the restart.
Whole track is in shade right now, so that will only add grip, which makes that cape, that Superman cape, feel a little bit better. Track temp really hasn't changed. We've only elapsed 50 minutes or so, but having this whole track in shade, at least temporarily until that sun peeps out, that's going to make this restart even more feisty with even that much more grip.
I love it when a track gets in the shade like that and it grips up and things just get quick, because it always produces great racing. The pace car pulls off, not the pace truck. Pace car for this truck series will pull off there, and Marin, great jump in the Echo Park restart, and Jake Nichols very quick to respond there. Drops down right behind, and that's going to let Matheson and Noel come through as you watch Rocky Boyd there in the mix, Mason Kane in the mix, Jonathan Evans, Pacioli, Mercurio, Kuntz, top 10 there. Very, very stacked, and just watch them as they go. Beckner up in the 14th, and will continue to try to fight his way back forward on that recovery drive. That's turning out pretty good for him as we go into 3 and 4.
Yes, it is. Travis Beckner up to the 14th spot. That obviously, that damage not hindering him at all, and Mercurio in 10th, lost a couple spots on that restart. Pacioli got flying pretty good. He is up in 11th, and look at Mercurio, meat in the sandwich, Kuntz and Kane. That is a playoff sandwich of all kinds, the scariest kind that there is. That is just outside the top 10, but they'll all get sorted out. But what also gets sorted out is the lead right now. Jake Nichols on that high lane with the assistance from Matheson in the 43, and a tight line to the inside. That 23 of Marin struggling to keep it down there. I think that's going to give the upper edge to the 73.
Watch these front trucks as we get closer to the end here of this race. They're going to get more and more aggressive on the run. Things are going to get very interesting. And honestly, these playoff drivers are the ones that are going to start to really feel the pressure here. They're going to have to make a choice. Do they balance things out here towards the end and just live to fight another day? Or do they want to go and risk everything for the win here as we come through and continue around and keep things going? And the question in YouTube chat is, math ain't mathin', but who's the 8th playoff driver? It's Garrett Conrath, who is not here tonight. He's forced himself into a win to be in at Auto Club in 2 weeks.
Yes, indeed, having some issues here, whatever it is. We know storms over a lot of the country are wishes to any of those who live in Texas who have undergone those deadly floods. Severe weather becoming very prominent here in the country. So hopefully he is not in that thick of it here. But the 23 washing up the track again, getting tight, trying to hold the inside. That's putting Jake Nichols in a precarious spot, but he does have that lane, that preferred banking, and giving him the momentum. But Marin really trying to take that spot away from him.
Yeah, Marin wants the win, wants the glory here, and show up, show off. 43, though, Masterson going to have a dive, and I'm pretty sure I just butchered his last name.
Oh, he gone. Where'd he go? There he is.
Whoa, Sebastian, where are you going? There's a race on the track. Where are you Houdini into here? 3 wide off of turn 4 going down. 73 taps the 23. They come through. The 16 is in the middle there. Rocky Boyd's going to push the 23. This is scary up front. Watch out. I don't like it.
And that 73 is just saying, I got a championship on the line right here. None of you guys in the top 5 do. So I need to protect myself from any catastrophic issues that won a Seth Noel in the same category. Look at Timmy Pacioli. He's showing his cards here. He wants to get the blackjack specialty here at Vegas, showing it in the last 50 laps.
Let's see what happens here coming through. Lap 79, lap 80 on the board now to be run. Down the inside, Rocky Boyd fighting like Rocky Balboa, as I keep calling him all season. He's going to take it to the big leagues here. Sebastian Marin side by side. They'll go. The 43 of Jake Matheson wants to help along here, and the 73 of Jake Nichols wants to help the high side. Which Jake do you want behind you if you're in the front row? I don't have a good answer, but pick one and make him your best friend.
Exactly that here is... You know, we have enough fuel to make it to the end. We technically have enough tire to make it to the end, but the grip's going to fade away rather quickly here. And with each passing lap, it's going to be harder and harder to pass. So you want to get it clear. You want to get it done now so that you can just kind of chug along for the remainder of the race. But as this track is faded in shade right now, that's going to give you longer tire life. That's going to give you more grip, and that's going to allow you to make these moves. That 73 was all but clear, but he kept himself to that outside of Boyd and kept the momentum and gives him another shot to the race lead.
A lot of skill and a little bit of luck is what has differentiated a lot of these drivers between their playoff runs this season, and from getting into the playoff position they're in versus not. It's that little bit of luck and that lot of bit of skill. Any of these drivers on track right now have enough skill under them where they could have been in this playoff bubble, but it's just that little bit of luck, that little bit of a chance of fate that has mixed things up for some people versus others here. Watch that P6 through P10 specifically of all of those playoff drivers in such a small space of track as they go through the 82 and the 1, currently going side by side. Noel and Mercurio behind, with Mason Kane right behind that. Jordan Kuntz looking around, but they've stretched it single file now. Here's what scares me with this one, Corey. They've stretched it single file. At some point, that's going to accordion back in, and at some point, we're going to put a lot of playoff drivers and not enough real estate. Keep your eyes on it here to the end.
Well, something else that's happened is Mr. Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's going to take some of that grip away and add some heat back into the racing surface, which will make it a little bit slicker, which makes the mistakes a little bit easier to have here. But I'm going to counter you, Brad. Where it's starting to spread out, tire wear is going to come back into play to a higher degree. Times will fall off. I don't think we're going to see that rubber band effect. I think we're going to keep spreading out, and whoever's good now is going to be in a favorable spot, which Sebastian Marin being up front certainly is not what anybody wants to see unless you're Sebastian Marin. But remember, we just saw Rocky Boyd going for the race lead. I think he may have overexerted himself there because he has dropped back to 5th, and Pacioli is trying to take that away.
Yeah, I definitely think that Rocky Boyd could have overextended there in that run for the lead. But if he had gotten the lead, man, he'd probably still be there holding on. As look at this battle starting to develop. That is the 80 of Gabe Herschel and the 60 of Chilcutt that has no chill to be found there as he's going to look up the inside of Herschel. This is the battle for P11, and Chilcutt will clear him. Will he slide up? Well, he's certainly going to try. He's going to do it. And man, not a lot of room left there, but that is right in front of Travis Beckner, the P13 truck, who has raced his way back up into P13, trying to keep those playoff dreams alive.
P13, Travis Beckner. Again, this is the kind of race that puts you, as a championship favorite because you can persevere when things aren't going your way. When things are, you could very easily give up and quit or just kind of, relent towards having a good race. You stay in it, and 86 in front of Rocky. I don't think he cleared himself. Well, he did clear himself, and I think Rocky, as the kids would say, did him a solid there. Let's check that out very quickly on replay.
So watch Rocky here coming through, and I would imagine that there was a little bit of checkup to be given here.
He did him a solid there, because otherwise I think that 86 would have turned into a liquid if he didn't back off.
Yeah, again, that's one of those moments where, as the driver, you kind of make the decision. Do I cut this guy a little bit of slack, or am I going to stick to my guns here and make him make his own bed? And in that moment, Rocky Boyd backed out of it.
And do you think that yellow tag underneath Timmy's name maybe had any indication behind that? There's always that thing with playoff drivers, non-playoff drivers. You want to be in it. You want to have the best run you can for yourself and for your team, but you also don't want to be, quote unquote, that guy who ruins it for somebody who is going for the championship.
Yeah, I think it depends on the driver mindset. I mean, if you're going to have a Kyle Busch mindset, then you really don't care, and it sucks to be them. But, I mean, some guys are nicer than others. We know everyone here at Area gets along fairly well, but, I mean, racing's racing. You never know what's going to happen here. Look at Mason
Brad,
Kane there.
Look at that 60 truck. We got a logo on the quarter panel. We didn't ask for that. We've never made it known. Hendry County trying to suck up to us. It's working.
Oh, that does not surprise me at all. We know those Hendry County guys love us. We love Hendry County. If I can make an excuse to come down to Hendry County, I'm 100% going to do it. So if I can make my way down there, I might reach out to the Beckners and say, hey, I'm going to come hang out for a weekend. We'll see how wild I want to get this end of this summer, early into the fall.
See what happens in Brad's personal life there, pertaining to going to Miami. Well, Hendry County area, which it's south. Miami is south. I don't know how close it is to Homestead, but perhaps we'll find out in our YouTube chat. But either way, Sebastian Marin not pulling away by that half-second margin that he did earlier. Jake Nichols keeping him in check there as Jalen Handcamp soon to go one lap in arrears. You can see that damage from that prior incident, and surprisingly, he's kept it on the lead lap this long, but no help from a caution flag to help him get some more damage in. Marin getting that advantage. Jonathan Evans in position to get himself another sponsor. And then again, Jake Matheson, which I'll have you check the stat sheet, Brad. I think you have it in front of you, but not a name that has been prevalent this season, but certainly making his presence known here tonight.
Yeah, Jake running a really good race here today. And keep your eye back on the background, by the way. Rocky Boyd has engaged Alicia Keys mode and is following. Is falling. There's the words that I'm looking for. Is Travis Beckner is P11, and Rocky Boyd is the next problem child for him, and that'll get him up into P10 as we now clear around the 67, put him a lap down, and just watch out here as Handcamp will hold the high line. What do you do to pick around him, and can that help you get any positions?
Beckner Boyd.
No!
Beckner saved it. We'll give him credit, but
Beckner with a big save there. But Boyd, what was that?
Yeah, that was a 7-part incident there, which means it's going to be very difficult to dissect. But we will do our very best here. Now, watch this off of 2. Beckner, I think he realized he wasn't going to clear himself, but he got tight, and then they're just bopping doors, and 16 kind of got loose off the bopping into the fence. Beckner managed to save it. There goes Slaughter. There goes Danny Ware. And I know there was some more behind that. Let's go on board with Danny Ware here, and then we'll cut to any pit stops that are happening.
Here, so incident starts ahead. Danny Ware is logging it down, and I mean, if you're Danny Ware, where do you go at that point? Well,
just walked right into that one. Oh, and then late race. That was Gary Watersworth there in the 12. Late impact there, but this will basically take all of the strategy out of it, because now we're just turning this into about a 24-lap sprint race, Brad.
Yep. I will say I'm very happy to see Beckner kind of got through that one unscathed. We'll see where race control calls that. I will say that it did seem like there was a bit of net code, and the shade has now come out again.
Yeah, it is dark, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if we were racing at night, but no. Is Mason Kane's in the box?
It's still only 4:05 sim time right now. We are getting told the 16 is getting dinged on that. They allocate that he turned it left on that wreck. So he is getting the +2, which will hinder him next week at Auto Club Speedway. But exiting the pits, Sebastian Marin will, of course, retain the lead. This will, I believe, be the third set of tires, so everyone even still has one more set in the books on the wall for another caution. So we're getting to that point, though, Brad, where if a caution is to come out, which, let's be real, as tight as things are, intensity, I wouldn't be surprised. Do they even consider pitting again, or is the bed made now? Oh my God, it's dark out. My God, sorry. I am just heavily distracted at this.
Yeah, no, I'm having the same problem here. I was almost going to say, is it going to rain? But
we have severe weather here in Massachusetts, and it's actually like the same level of darkness here. Well, prior to it being nighttime, but you know what I mean. Go on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I honestly was going to ask you if it's supposed to rain, because that's how dark it is. You can tell that I've been doing a lot of the Elbows Out League on Wednesday nights because I'm so used to seeing it get this dark right before it's supposed to rain. Yeah, no, not what I was expecting here, but as we come through, again, this is going to be second verse, same as the first with these restarts. Marin has the control and will have a great run, and then Nichols just has to react well, which Jake Nichols has done really well on, I will say. We'll see what happens here, as we've had 5 cautions on the night.
5 cautions, 14 laps. Marin with our quick lap here of the race at a 30:34. I don't think Xfinity is sponsoring that here today, but either way, the fast lap to be had. And with 23-ish laps to go, I'm going to say I think that tire deg will still happen, but it's going to happen so late into the run that basically I think these guys can go absolute full send, really with no concern. So whatever you can get, you're going to get it here. And if you have to suffer for a few laps to the end, I think that's going to be the case. So this is going to be nuts, Mr. Brad.
If you wanted popcorn, if you wanted a snack, if you're like me and you needed a Mountain Dew kickstart, a little too late here to go through, because somebody's going to be drinking victory fuel at the end of this. And we're going to find out who. Sebastian Marin goes away. Great start there. You saw Seth Noel trying to get a little bit of a cheeky run, and somebody's absolutely flying up to the back of the field here as we get going.
Oh, yeah, that's I think that's Gary Watersworth there pulling off that Kyle Busch card from the Clash back in the day, getting that run to the line there. Damage repair, but either way, coming down the back straightaway, Marin has the run, which at this point, I don't know if you want to have a lead because the slipstream, the draft, is going to be so powerful. Evans going to the inside. He's going to get clear of the 73, but the 73 is going to have the run, but the 26 is going to shut the door. I think that's the highest the 26 has been. He goes high, he goes low, taking the dive on Marin.
Tell you what, if you're racing for sponsors here and not a playoff run, you're Jonathan Evans, and Jonathan Evans here to the inside around Sebastian Marin. Turn the lights on here to see that white truck go through down the inside. He gets the run. Watch the 43 of Jake Matheson. I did the research here in the caution. This is only his second truck start here, and he is doing a doggone good job, I have to say.
He's doing it and doing it and doing it well, but I don't think he's representing Queens or Brooklyn here. But coming off the corner, I thought I saw some smoke in front. Perhaps it was just a glitch, but either way, Evans trying to make that inside lane work, and it's very difficult. Even on the fresh tires, you need that grip, you need that banking. A little bit of a wiggle from Marin to the outside as the sun's starting to peep out here. A little bit of a door tap down the back straightaway.
Watch here in the 3, Evans to the inside, Marin to the outside yet again. Second verse, same as the first. Everyone holding on, trying to do what they can here as they go out of 4 and coming around. It will be Marin leading at the line. Here's the problem, though. Here comes Jake and Jake. Which Jake do you want as your friend? Well, it looks like Marin is going to have 2 Jakes pushing him around the outside here. Not 2 Trailer Park Girls, but definitely 2 Jakes bringing it around the outside here. See what they can get as they go through. And Jonathan Evans still keeping that side draft alive.
And he is using those tires, trying to make that inside lane work. But as I said earlier, ain't going to worry about that. There's not enough time left to really worry about those tires. Seeing the 23 into the fence, not sure if he's actually or if that's kind of a glitch, but either way, that could be something that builds up over time and hurts that 23. You don't want to tap that wall for obvious reasons, but this has been about 4 laps of straight side-by-side, and here comes another push from the 73. This may be the final blow for the 26, as Marin will clear by a whisker.
And Marin dropping low there. The 26 now going to ride up to the high line, pinch the 73. 73 holds on to it out of 4, though, and will try to get the run down. Now Jonathan Evans is pushing Sebastian Marin. Let's see what happens here as Marin's going to look high here and try to hold off Jake Nichols, but becomes a meat in the sandwich. Down the inside goes Evans. Evans trying to clear by a millimeter side by side the 2 Toyota trucks, and here comes Jake Nichols yet again with that run on the high line. Nichols just wants one of them out of the way so he can try to run through and get the move forward there for 609.
I saw that 26 getting tight off the bottom there through 3 and 4. Thought he may have washed up into the 20s, into the 23 of Marin, but luckily was able to back off and evade any further issues, got that thing turning the way he needs to. And then if you're the 73, you're just thinking, what do? I don't want to help the 23 out. I want to win. I want my free pass to Charlotte. But he also doesn't want to go 3 wide, and he also doesn't want to get stuck to the bottom. But now the 23 clears. 73 can put his full focus on trying to get the outside of the 23. And he'll do it right now. 23 all the way to the flat. We're going to go 3 wide here, I believe. As the Sebastian Marin slides up. Jake Nichols does great to avoid causing any big issues there as they come through. And Jonathan Evans now back side by side with Sebastian Marin. Down the backstretch they go. I mean, what do you do in this situation? You're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and this is the worst place to be here because you need that win, as you said, Corey. I mean, this is the point where when do you rip the Band-Aid off and go 3 wide as bad as you don't want to try to force the move around? Oh, my God. It looks like, what do you do? As our pal Andre Grandebusch says, you know it's a good broadcast when the commentators can only make sound effects here. Sebastian Marin is getting really aggressive, not so much with the blocking, but clearing himself by the skin of his teeth every single time. Didn't even know teeth had skin there. But the 73 trying to get to the outside, trying to get the run off the corner. But he wants to get to the outside, but Marin is blocking the run. He doesn't want to go low because he can see the struggle the 26 is having.
The 73 is just going to have to force it 3 wide. Unfortunately, that's the position he's kind of caught himself in because those two, I mean, this is the greatest side-by-side racing I've seen in a long time in iRacing as they go through side-by-side yet again for another lap. They're going to hold it side-by-side down the backstretch into 3. The 73 is now backed off. The 43 is backed off a little bit. They're kind of recouping. Here's the problem for Jake Nichols.
That was wall contact. That was not net code from that 23, so chalk that in the book. Hopefully that doesn't hurt his abilities, but look at the 73. He's looking low. 23 is actually going to try to block Evans down low, and he may be able to clear Evans. Evans may clear. No! Off the corner. Gives the momentum back to the 23, and a little bit of a gap formed, second to third. 43 trying to give the 73 a push, and look at Seth Noel, and look at Brian Mercurio. Is he too far back to be in the mix? He's in 6th, but 5 difficult trucks to pass.
Top 10 separated by under a second right now. Really, anybody in the top 10, if they try to have a run, could have a run because these two right here are doing nothing but holding each other up. They need to figure it out here. And the thing is, they're both racing so hard. I know we said tires probably wouldn't be an issue, but there's enough tire fall off that you'll see something happen with those two if they keep this up. They now go single file. It's almost like they're listening to the commentator. Watch Mercurio go to high line, though, as he's going to try to work something around. Pacioli wants to try to get a nose in on the mix, come through. Watch the 30 there of Jeremy Miller. He wants through. This is the hardest racing I've seen in months, and we still have 12 laps of this.
You'd think they were toddlers having a tantrum, how aggressively these guys are slamming the door on each other here, and at some point someone's going to miscalculate how much room they have. You know, a millimeter is not very much, but a half millimeter might cause you into a wreck. So but someone's going to take that risk. That's what they're going to have to do. Seth Noel taking a risk by running all the way to the fence. Haven't seen that lane work as well as I would have expected, but he's doing whatever he can do, trying to give maybe a push to the 43, get the 43 pushed back to the 73. and maybe try to get the lead battle going. But now, as you said, Brett, I think the tire wear is coming into play, where those moves are getting harder to make, and maybe that 26 had to burn the right front up too much running the bottom.
Definitely think that as we come through. 11 laps to go. It'll be 10 to go as they cross the line here. Looking at lap times as they come through, I mean, a 31.446 from Jonathan Evans last lap as he crosses the line. This will reset. So going through, I mean, just to give you an idea, it's a 31.5 this lap, but they are still running equal times to everyone behind them. I mean, it's a very similar pace through the field right now, but you got to figure out something here. Unfortunately, I think at this point, this is going to be where things really start to shake up. They have saved a little bit behind. Seth Noel here trying to go around the high side of the 43.
Yes, he is trying to use that outside lane. Mercurio just behind, and here we go. I thought I saw something happening, but I saw the 67 of hand cam going another lap down. But Evans, he has fallen into second. He's not side by side, but he hasn't gone anywhere. And this is very important because I wonder, and I'm already going to be wrong here, is he trying to time this towards the very end? That spec map looks so good on Sebastian's car at this angle. But is he trying to time this to where Marin can't get by, or is he trying to time one of those Vegas haymakers we saw earlier in the race?
He's got to throw a Hail Mary. I mean, at some point, we're in Vegas. You got to gamble. You got to throw it all on red and just hope you get lucky here. As we see the 78 and the 31, Kenny Brady, Mason Kane battling it out. This is for the back of the top 10. Again, remember, Mason Kane trying to race his way in for Charlotte here. He is currently back of the top 8 that are running through in this round of the playoffs coming around. Yet again, we see more battles. The 30 and the 99, Miller and Kuntz trying to battle it out here as they sort it out. Up front, it's still, I mean, we're in Vegas. It is still a boxing match.
Now, they're all single file, which, again, a lot of it has to do with the tire wear. It's getting harder and harder to control these vehicles here. In terms of stint right now, we're 20 laps in. We got 7 laps to go. It's about a little over half of a fuel stint here. So the trucks certainly are already a second off the pace. And look at all the way to the outside. Ripping the fence line is Evans. Now, this is how you know if it works. He loses time through the center. He's going to get it on exit. Combine that with a little bit of slipstream. Was it a net gain? I'll say it was about dead even. But now he's going to try a slightly higher line through 1 and 2. He's going to get right into that air of Marin. And again, he experimented. You have to give him credit. Didn't really amount to anything, though. But what it did amount to something is Brian Mercurio. He's in the top 5. He's digging for more underneath the 1 truck.
Watch that 73 of Jake Nichols there. He's going to squeeze up, and no! Oh, that blocks the run from Jonathan Evans. I was going to say, if Jonathan can run that again this lap, it's a great move. And now they come through. Let's get a replay of that, because that's a hard hit in the wall there from the 73, trying to hold off the 26. And they were going 3 wide. They're still 3 wide. No, on the exit of 2. Playoff drivers, Noel, Mercurio, and Evans there coming through. Now the 43 and Matheson will run. They hold it 3 wide again. Avert your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Mercurio fan. I don't like the way this one could end, because he's in probably the worst position for the 3.
Yes, he is. All the way to the bottom of 3 wide inside lane. Not the ideal place to be. Jake Nichols, even with the wall contact, he has gotten second. He has 4 laps to go as the 1 got really tight up the track into the 43. Timmy Pacioli, he's in the mix. Playoff driver. Jordan Kuntz, that playoff driver in the 99 truck, currently in the 8th spot. But now it's the Battle of Titans on Thursday night. Of course, Jake has more to battle for today. He's trying to battle for the free ticket to Charlotte. Marin just wants to have the fun win. 4.5 miles to settle it.
The boxing gloves are on. The UFC gloves are on. I don't know what you want to call it, or its gloves are off. Why am I saying on? Anyways, the fight is alive here in Vegas as we go 3 laps to go. Watch Jake Nichols. Watch Brian Mercurio. That's a sleeper agent if I've ever seen one, who has managed to battle his way from an end-of-line penalty on the race start. Patience is a virtue through 120 laps, and with 118 laps about to be done, he's about to find top 4, possibly top 3. We'll see if we talk to him at the end of the race as they come through around. Marin holding on against Nichols with Evans in 3rd, 2 laps to go.
Last time by for Nichols, a skosh slower, and kind of stabilized out, rated around that 0.2 of a second gap. So things may be a little bit difficult for the 73, and if we can make it another half a lap, we will finish this race under green. Evans getting the last second surge. That might help Nichols with a little bit of a draft, but coming off 4, it's going to end under green. Barney has the flag, and there it goes.
White flag out. 1 lap to go to end this race. Will it be Marin? Will it be Nichols? Who knows? Could it be a Hail Mary from Evans that sends it through? Evans certainly going to try, but Sebastian Marin is going to hold things off there. Second place, Jake Nichols just needs to hold on here and be consistent. He needs to think big picture. He needs to think through, but Sebastian Marin, so much pace in that 23 truck, coming through 3 and 4, and Nichols just too far back to give anything. This one's Marin's race if he can exit 4 clean.
Coming off turn number 4, it's not going to get him an auto lock. That's on Thursdays, but he's going to get the Vegas weekend off to a good streak, and Sebastian Marin wins here in the trucks. Jake Nichols won't get the auto lock, but that'll be good for him in second. Evans, Matheson, and Mercurio. I'm going to make an unofficial statement here, Brad, that I think he'll probably point his way in automatically after this one. Good recovery from that EOL up to the top 5, but what can you say? Sebastian Marin, he's won, 5-6 races on Thursday nights and comes down to Tuesdays and still beats him here, but this one wasn't easy.
Yeah, again, Marin with the king on Thursday nights. I would not be surprised if Thursday night we see Sebastian Marin with a great run, but, he's a good driver. He can jump in anything and drive, and that's kind of what we expect out of Sebastian Marin. But I want to show a lot of love to Jake Nichols because, he's drove it hard here today and got himself up into second, which is what he wanted. That's a unique way to do a burnout if I've ever seen it.
Matt Kenseth kind of had a really interesting burnout here in 2003 where he kind of did like a figure 8 through the grass here. And some drivers have kind of taken heed to that. Is something fun to do. But either way, Marin, not someone who is uncomfortable doing burnouts here, has a lot of practice in doing it. But while he continues doing that, let's go down trackside and give you our final rundown of results here today with our post-race show. Sebastian Marin holds on for that win by 0.3 of a second. Final margin there over Jake Nichols. Jonathan Evans, a solid run there in third. Jake Matheson, a second race of the season out with these guys. He'll get a 4th, and here comes a whole bunch of yellow playoff drivers. Mercurio gets that comeback for 5th. Noel 6th. Kuntz, Pacioli, Miller, and then Mason Kane. He's going to have some work to do if he's going to carry on. He is in 10th.
Going on there, Kenny Brady, P11, Garrett Grant, P12, Justin Anasogak, P13, Travis Beckner with a great recovery drive, I would say, into 14th. Keeps his playoff chances somewhat alive. We'll see how he does here in 2 weeks at Auto Club. Gabe Herschel, P15, Bryce Sinisak in 16th, Joshua Ballet in P17, Tyler Hallman, P18, Ben Pierce, and Forrest Smith rounding out our top 20 here today.
And rounding out our results, Lee Norton, Casey Lakatis. I don't think we talked about him more than once today. Doug DeNice had some issues. Alex Chilcutt. Rocky Boyd, he certainly had some camera time here today. Brad Slaughter, 26th. Gary Watersworth, 27th. Tanner Love, Jalen Handcap, and Jake Fisher. And then just to round things out, Danny Ware is in 31st. Caden Diedrich, he was out early in 32nd. Philip Groner, Josh Parrish, and then Ryan Swan is going to round up the caboose here today in the 35th spot. But let's head straight down to victory lane. I think Brad has caught our race winner in the form of Sebastian Marin. Sebastian will be the one drinking the victory fuel here today. I don't know if it's Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon, but he has a can. It's packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. 10% off your order with code AREA iRacing at checkout. And here's our race winner.
Sebastian showing up on a Tuesday night. Very untypical for you, but shows up, shows off. Started second, finished first. It was hard fought for that first place, though. Talk me through your battle there with Jonathan Evans to the end.
Yeah, man, that battle with Jonathan, it was a good, hard-fought battle. It's just with how cool the conditions were and everybody being on low fuel there, you could hold it wide open for a few more laps than you could before when you were fully packed of fuel. So it was just whoever was getting the help from behind, and luckily Nichols was going with me every single time because for him it was just a safe bet to push me. But if he just pushed Evans one time, Evans would have cleared me, and who knows, maybe it would have been Evans in victory lane and me in P2. So it just kind of all played out there for me. So yeah, I guess Jake deserves a little shout out for continue to push me and not Evans, because it was so hard to pass. It's whoever had the lead there was going to win the race. So yeah, so thank you to him for sure.
Well, it was a great run to watch there through. I got to ask, though, if the race had went green, what was your pit stop strategy? Were you doing a one stop or a two stop?
If it went green from start to finish, most likely two. I knew when that first yellow came out on lap 1, somebody at the back could probably have pitted and made it a one stop. But again, it's if it would have gone green. But I definitely was on a two stop. And then the yellow near a little bit after halfway, you had some people saving fuel. And I was in the lead, so I didn't want to give it up. So I was trying my best to save fuel with Nichols in the field behind me, and I was like half a lap to a lap short. So that would have been interesting because I know some other people back there were saving, betting on it going green. So yeah, kind of lucky escape that yellow came out, but then it just got hairy with how many laps we had to go to the end. Like I said, it was just full push, and it was so hard to hold on to the lead. And yeah, we take those. So
it was a lot of fun to watch, Sebastian. Will you be joining us in 2 weeks at Auto Club?
Oh, 2 weeks. I would love to, but I don't think so. I have Cook Series priorities to do, so most likely not. But I wish I could because I love that track. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things play out, but most likely not, which is a shame. But I would love to race.
Man, if we don't get to see you, it's still awesome to see you jump in the truck series when you can. I know Thursday nights are the bread and butter, and you have a great thing going there, but it was awesome to get to watch you tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
And Corey, I believe you have caught up with our second place driver, Jake Nichols.
Yes, indeed. Jake Nichols, the 73 truck, gets P2 here today. I know you were so close and wanted that free pass to Charlotte. Obviously, the battle with the 26 and the 23. What was your thought process with that, man? You probably wanted to go 3 wide. You knew it wouldn't be the right call, but you probably felt stuck there and just caused you to run out of time, I imagine.
Yeah, I kind of just felt stuck. I was trying to do whatever I could to keep them side by side and maybe try to get one big run. I felt like if I got a big enough run, I could just send it bottom 3 down the front stretch and just send it and hope it stuck pretty much. But at the end of the day, I was in a good point spot, leading all the playoff guys. So we didn't want to do anything too risky. I think we exit tonight with like a 19-point gap over 4th. So while we're not locked in by any means, it's still a pretty good spot, especially with how we've been running recently in the series. I think as long as we just don't get involved in anything crazy, start up front next week, we can try to go win Auto Club and go to Charlotte. But yeah, I don't know. It was not my cup of tea necessarily. It was kind of just Daytona out there, a lot of throttle. But if you got to the lead, you kind of could just hold it for a while. And we lost it at the wrong time. And the 3 wide battle was crazy. We kept getting kind of I kept getting kind of net coated up toward the fence a few times, and it was a bit scary. I thought I was going to get put in the wall a few times, but it just didn't work out. We didn't get the push when we needed to in certain battles, but overall we'll take it in our 609 truck and look toward next week.
Yeah, of course, Auto Club being a little bit of an anomaly, and it's going to be pretty pack-like as well, so I know the stress might be higher, but then you're all but given a catastrophe, probably going to have a good chance to be racing at Charlotte. I know Vegas doesn't have the same banking as Charlotte, but are you comfortable in that intermediate package that, if you can get that far, that you'll have a good piece to play with?
I think as of recently, yeah. I think if you asked me last season, I probably would be a little back and forth. My mile and a halves were not great. I was not very good long run pretty much, but I think we've kind of figured it out a little bit better this time around. I know Kansas, we went and won and we're up front the whole time, and obviously tonight with a lot of grip tonight, to be fair, but more of the same. I think we should be able to have a good shot at Charlotte. It's going to be an interesting battle. I think we're all pretty even across the board here. We're like pretty much everyone left in the playoffs. We're all pretty close on speeds, so it's just whoever gets out front can kind of mirror drive a little bit and kind of deviate how the race goes.
Yeah, well, we don't want to count our chickens too early because you do have to make it through Auto Club, but we'll wish you the best. Congrats on a solid run today, and we'll see if you can punch that ticket next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Then rounding out our podium, Jonathan Evans. He did get knocked out of the playoffs, but certainly drove like a master here today, and he finished third with Brad.
Jonathan Evans, I mean, talk about a hard-fought battle there. I mean, you and Sebastian Marin going round for round, blow for blow. Kind of talk me through that battle there at the end.
I was trying. I gave it all I could on the bottom. I mean, I don't think I lifted for almost all of that battle until I had to. But basically, you're just a sit and duck side by side, and it just depends on wherever the car in third, whoever they want to push. And I know Nichols had Matheson like right there, so he couldn't really push me, but I really wish he did, because I think whoever got the lead there was gonna walk away with it. But overall, it was a fun race. I didn't really like the way that the trucks drive. This is probably the most disappointed I've ever been with the P3, because I just want to get that goose egg out of there before the end of the season, but there's always next week.
Yeah, certainly. Just a couple more rounds left, man, to see if you can get that win. I got to ask about the My Sponsors Left situation. What's the situation with that?
Yeah, so that was just a scheme. You know, I got knocked out the first round at all 3 series of the playoffs. And so all my sponsors just upped and left. But I just thought it was something funny, something to throw on the truck, you know. But yeah, I mean, they should have put this track in the first round of the playoffs. That's all I gotta say. But I might be a little biased. But just huge shout out to Powerhouse and Ben for having me on the team, letting me do this. And yeah.
Man, it's been awesome to watch your battle through. You got Auto Club coming up in 2 weeks, and then Charlotte after that. Either of those tracks you fancy for a win?
I think Auto Club's probably my best shot. I really like that track, specifically in the B car. And Charlotte, I mean, if it drove anything, I did a college series race there a few months ago, and the setup was really good. It kind of got loose after a while, and you can really work both lanes much better than here at Vegas. So I think both of those tracks are winnable for me. It's just gonna have to come down to executing on the day.
Well, definitely interested to see what happens there. Jonathan, congratulations on the P3, man. I know it's not what you wanted, but still, it's a great run. And we'll catch up with you here in a couple weeks.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that'll wrap things up here on PTR TV for today's coverage. Obviously, an absolute banger of a race here for the Area Truck Series. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Have some fun with us as we grow up to 1,800 subscribers. If you're on Twitch, consider subscribing for $5 a month with your emotes and double points. We'll be live tomorrow night with the Elbows Out Racing League, and then back here on Thursday night for the Florida State Builders Pro Series, and back on Sunday night for our triple bypass. A busy time on PTR TV. Any final words before we sign out tonight, Brad?
I can't wait for Auto Club, man. If this is how they race in Vegas, I cannot wait to see where Auto Club comes up. Just tune in the next few weeks and let's see how Area ends up.
All right, so that will be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.